Fractal level 12, Siren's Reef. What a headache this fractal is. I've decided for this fractal that a condition engineer is the best choice. I went with rifle because rifle is cheaper than 2 weapons, and for the first time ever we have a back piece. In this fractal we are stranded on a pirate island, and to proceed further we need to kill all the dinosaurs at the start. The dinosaurs, just like this fractal, are annoying. You have a rolling dinosaur, you have an evading dinosaur, you have little chompy dinosaurs, and you have the bristlebacks, which just shoot you down, the Gatling dinosaurs. There are many ways I could have tackled the bristlebacks, with reflection or line of sight, but I went with graveyard rushing. After all the dinosaurs are dead, it's time for the main dinosaur. When the main dinosaur gets low enough, it will run into the wall and open a way for us. And here we have our next mechanic, mines and cannons. Cannons deal massive damage to ghosts and can clear mines. And mines themselves are, in higher levels, a one-shot. On this level they just deal a lot of damage. After clearing the initial ghost, I test out what works on clearing the mines. I tried blocking with Toolkit and the racial skill toolbelt skill of Vines, AD to see if that could prevent death from mines, which it can, and Elixir S. Elixir S gets rid of mines while not doing damage to you. And with stealth, the mines do not see you, which is something that can be used to tackle this boss. There are 3 strategies to tackle this boss. The first one is to stay near the cannon and go back and forth to the entrance. If you're not in the rectangle, Pete will deal a stacking burning attack on you, which you can't prevent, only outheal or outrun. If you're far away enough, then it will not hit you. So by going back and forth using the cannon, you can deal with Pete. Or you can stay downstairs and stay in stealth. Since you're stealth in the boss arena, you're not getting hit by the stacking attack and the mines do not affect you. Periodically you can go to the cannon, shoot at Pete and go back in stealth in the arena. Or the third way, which is what I'm doing, is stay in the arena and periodically get rid of the mines. And I do this with Elixir S. From time to time I go in stealth when new mobs spawn, since they're programmed to group up near the boss, which I make good use of. The cannon is meant for multiplayer strategies, that's why it's a bit difficult. You have your group of 4 people stand next to the boss, and then a 5th player getting rid of the mines and dealing massive damage towards the ghosts. Hating on solo players is an identity on this Fractal, and I die a lot. I've already cut out a few deaths from this boss. Let's speed down. Now for the next part, the Cursed Treasure Maze. After killing the Pocket Raptors, we enter the maze. The goal of this maze is to bring 3 cursed treasures all the way to the end. Which is easier said than done, because if we hold on to the treasure for too long, we get slower and slower until we're immobilized. Also in the maze are white ghost circles. If you touch one of them, a few ghosts will spawn. Also, if your treasure ends inside of a ghost circle, then you will have to start all over again. After I deliver each treasure, I GG. To clear the ghosts which might have spawned and to clear my movement debuff. Right, cursed treasure acquired, now to bring into the ship. On the ship, we have two new directives. Bring another cursed treasure from either the north or the south beach and kill a boss after it. The treasure can be picked up by a ghost and they will carry it back to the start unless you kill them, which is a very annoying solo. Luckily, rocket boots on NG help a lot. First mini-boss, which also shows you a few mechanics. The most important one, and also the one that causes the most headaches later on, is that we need to stay in control of the ship. We can't move away on the gangplanks or on the front of the ship. We can't use stealth too often or invulnerables, because if the control bar is depleted, then it's an instant death. Aside from that, every 25%, starting at 100%, few of crew members are present. A quartermaster will always spawn, which provides aegis and protection and gives us slow. There's also two melee pirates, which are manageable by just kiting, so I don't really know what they do, but it's the ranged ones which are annoying. There's a grenadier, which has very large AoEs that chill, making you very slow and increasing cooldowns. And there's a lightning Reef, which gives all enemies quickness. The boss itself is not that difficult. It places a damaging rune underneath, and every so often it showers the entire deck with red circles, which on higher levels dazes, but on this level it's just damage. So a few spammy grenades should do the trick. After the first mini-boss, it's the same procedure, only this time for the other beach. The boss this time is a bit more annoying. It spawns a orange circle under one of your party members, but since we're solo, it's just me. Every enemy standing inside the circle will get protection and quickness, and all friendlies standing inside the circle will get blinded and chilled. So basically, drop it somewhere in a corner and hopefully no enemies stand in it. It also has a triangle slam shoot attack. On higher levels this will knock back, but on this level it just does damage. Which means we can do the same procedure as the first boss, only with a bit more dodging. As with the first boss, something I forgot to tell. When the health gets low enough, the bosses on the ship will summon winds. When you stand in the winds, you will be blown off the ship. Not only will you lose control over the ship, so if it happens too often, then you insta-die. If you fall in the water, you will be hit by lots of conditions and damage. And if you stay off the ship for too often, you'll be hit by confusion and poison from a fog that's going around. So bottom line, try not to be blown off. The most difficult part of the mini-bosses and the big boss on the end is the adds. After you get their rotation down, then it's easy peasy. But when the adds spawn, then it gets a lot more difficult. Alright, second boss down, and now for the most difficult part of all. This part took me several days and multiple hours to get right. And when I say several days, it's just 2, don't worry. But it did take me a lot of hours to find a strategy for this. So many deaths later, I settled on Thief. The goal is to kill enough ghosts to continue. Problem is, there's a near endless supply of ghosts coming. Normally in Guild Wars 2, a new group of enemies can only spawn if you kill the first one. But not here. They will just keep on spawning and spawning and spawning. First I tried surviving on Engie, which went well enough, but that's all it was, surviving. It was not killing the ghosts, so I went with Thief. Thief has a lot of evasion and dealing damage with the evasion. But that also wasn't enough. So I went back to the best weapon I have, a cannon. And the cannon deals massive damage, which doesn't compare to me running around. For the build I went for, at first I tried Invigorating Precision, but looking at my footage, I barely had any Fury. Fury doubles the healing you get from Invigorating Precision. Therefore I went with a Cleric's build. With lots of healing power, I could make use of Signet of Malice to really get all the heals in. In Trickery, I use the trait that gives Caltrops when dodging. Caltrops heal with Signet of Malice, so that's an easy heal by just dodging. There's also Quick Pocket, which restores free initiative when swapping weapons. By having a dagger in a main hand in one set and an offhand in the other, I can swap in the same weapon set for a free initiative every 10 seconds. In Acrobatics, there are 3 Grandmasters. Either get health for every initiative you spend, gain initiative when dodging and permanent regeneration, or basically nullify chill. At first I went with more initiative on dodging, to dodge a lot, but I later realized that it was the chill that was doing me in. As for the strategy, I used Smokescreen to give myself a little bit of breathing room every so often, and mostly just dodged and Death Blossomed around. I stole some invulnerability elixirs from a pirate earlier, And with improvisation, that is a good 6 seconds of invulnerability. Yes, that does mean that I will lose control over the ship. So my tactic was to survive until no more ghosts will spawn. Then place a portal near a cannon and move off the ship while invulnerable, luring all the enemies with me. To lure the grenadiers and the lightning rays as well, I line of sight by moving underneath the gangplank, making it that they will run off the ship. With my last second of invulnerability, I move further away from the ship to lure the melee enemies even further for when they run back. Then I portal back, put a smoke screen on myself for even more protection, and then blow them all up. This was by far the most difficult part of this fractal. The end boss is not difficult, not if you're a cheese enjoyer like me. If you step on the ship, there will be a fog outside, and if you move off the ship with your legs or you're getting blown off, you'll be hit by the fog. But if you never step on the ship, then there will be no fog. So utilizing this, I whipped out my NG again and basically mortared Crowe down. You can't do this without a character without 1500 range. Well, since my thief can't use a rifle, it's mortar time. Things to look out for. I did die a couple of times, which was annoying because the fight takes over half an hour. There is the circle which will buff enemies and chill and blind you, so you have to perfectly dodge them. There's a green circle which deals less damage the more people are inside, but since we're alone, that will deal a hefty amount of damage. Healing Turret is the only healing skill which lines up with the cooldown of this skill, so Healing Turret is used. And the most difficult part is every 25% enemies spawn, with the most annoying one being the Quartermaster, which buffs all the others. RNG can mess everything up by spawning Lightning Waves and Grenadiers, which need to be grouped up if you're killing them, with the Grenadiers being cowards, swimming or running away. I used Elixir S to help me out in a few tricky situations where a green spawned and I was low on health. But all in all, it was half an hour of mortar shooting. And we've done it. This was number 2 on my list of annoying fractals that might end the run. It's very, very annoying, but it didn't end the run, so we can continue with the more fun fractals. Last quick look on the backpack build, and hopefully I can see you in level 13.